Big Bert Dog. What's going on, my man?
We talking about?
I was sharing a quick little Pete Alonso story that um, I've heard he's a really nice guy. Pete
Oh yeah?
Alonso, home run derby champion,
Yeah, man. Huge win for him last night in the
two
Derby.
two in a row, 2 in a row. So you're gonna fun fact here, Rutledge. You're gonna get to coach me on the way to start the party with you. I know you started the audio party with me, but to invite you to my game.
Yeah, since you're streaming, you got to invite me to play with you. It's super easy. Are you on the you can see all the screens where it picks teams?
Yo yeah,
Are you on play now?
yo yeah.
Did you go to play with friends online?
I did not, but I can try to find that. Oh, play now. Here we go. Oh yeah,
All the
play.
way to the right.
Play with friends online.
hmm
Aha.
And then you'll start the locker room and then invite me to the locker room.
Invite to that locker room. Let's do it. Another hot take I do want to share, Rutledge, is um, don't know what your thought is, but as it's relating to sporting events, I'm getting a little tired already of I think we're using and seeing too much 4K camera.
Yeah, I mean, I like the 4K camera. I like good HD, but I don't want it to be, it's like zoomed in and stuff. I like us still being able to watch sports. Like I remember when HD, like when pure HD started, that was exciting.
Oh yeah. By the way, we're
And
doing a
like where you
private
push a
match,
button.
right?
Private match pro 6 minute quarters.
6 minute quarters. That's a lot of takes. I'm just about out of takes.
We can do 5. We can go for 5.
Oh, we're good. No worries. No worries. We're good. So we're going to continue where we left off last week. And I'm going to be, yet again, the Phoenix Suns.
Well, I'm gonna win tonight since I'm on the road.
That's been sort of the vibe, except not in this NBA Finals. That's kind of been the opposite vibe.
So do you want to start tonight? I know we're booting it up, but we have plans. Do you want to start soccer talk, or do you want to go NBA Finals first tonight?
Oh, you know what, Rutledge? I can talk a lot of soccer talk. I think we should definitely start here on the soccer talk.
So the big soccer talk I want to start with, and Connor, I want your take on this. How wild? I mean, it doesn't. I don't know. The only thing I can equate what happened to Neymar is the same thing. You remember when Vince Young was signed as the backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles and said that this was the dream team? I feel like Neymar's social media blunder of saying we want Argentina and we're going to beat them is the same impact of losing that game in the Copa America final. What's your take?
Yeah, I think um, what's it's almost kind of, I don't want to say fun. You never. The thing about Brazil, right, is they had never lost a Copa America in Brazil. Let's not forget that maneuver there. But I think that it's definitely a um, Neymar got what he wanted, and there was a lot of Messi didn't exactly play well, but he didn't have to play well because that Argentine team played great in the final and played great throughout the tournament to bring Messi his first major international trophy.
That's his first,
That's Messi's first major international trophy. He has never won a World Cup or a Copa America in his career.
but he is probably one of the most popular international players. At least a top, what you think, a top two?
He Messi is not just one of the most popular international players. There's a lot of folks that believe Messi is the greatest, one of the greatest footballers to ever play the game. He's had a lot of just unfortunate happenstances there. World Cup final against just a buzzsaw of a Germany team. Went to penalty kicks. Messi can struggle from the penalty kick spot from time to time. Had back-to-back Copa America losses to Chile yet again. losing that on the penalty, as it relates to penalties. So, but one of the unsung heroes of that Copa America final was Angel Di Maria. Not Angel, but Angel Di Maria. Currently now plays winger over at PSG. All of the Facebook and social media were commenting just how lucky of a career he's had to be able to play on the international squad with Messi. He spent time playing at Real Madrid with Ronaldo. Now he plays at PSG with Neymar and Kylian Mbappe. So Angel Di Maria with the only goal of that match, but enough to see Argentina win and get Messi his trophy.
Huge win, huge victory. Great to see that go down. Speaking of Mbappe, did you see his FIFA cover for 22?
I have not. I saw he's on it. I have not seen the FIFA cover yet.
It looks nice. He looks real nice. It's
So,
very larger than life look. FIFA's done a really good job with it. And I feel, to me, it's good to see him on there. At least something kind of different. Oh, nice block.
there we go. So no, that's definitely, we've got our, with the Copa America final just happening, definitely a lot of fun there, finishing that up. I know we're going to be talking about Orlando City here later, but it's nice to have Pedro Gallese back. There are a lot of MLS teams that, not necessarily the Brazilian or Argentine national squads, but, Peru will have a lot of MLS players, and Paraguay will have a lot of MLS players. So it'll be nice for some of those rosters to get their players back, right as some of those same rosters are losing players due to the Gold Cup.
Yeah, the United States played in the Gold Cup. They beat Haiti 1-0.
A nervy win by the United States over Haiti, which is not a sentence you like saying.
No, but which is a sentence we say here all the time. And yeah, Connor, everything that I've been reading on it is we're a little nervous. Out of bounds. We're a little nervous about this Haiti win for the United States. I know you have been our almost official correspondent on the U.S. men's national team. Should the fan base be worried, or is this just we were too excited after our last win, plus we've been playing a lot? How should we feel?
I think that as it relates to the men's national team, one of the things you got to remember is that this is not the best squad Greg Berhalter could put out there, right? All the best European players are at training camp. I was watching Serginho Dest today in training for Barcelona. So you've got Christian Pulisic at Chelsea. You've got Weston McKennie. You've got Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho plays for England. We're going to talk about him later. But you have Gio Reyna over there at Borussia Dortmund. So definitely not the A squad. And one of the things that I always like talking about is jerseys don't win games, but the heartbeats inside of those jerseys do indeed win those games. So, you always want to win. I think that the United States could grow into this tournament a little bit. I think, Daryl DK being somebody that is, the double steal action. Nice. With the Dunkaroony.
Dunkaroos.
I was very sad to see Gyasi Zardes as the starting striker for the USMNT because, quite honestly, I don't think he should be on the roster, anywhere near the roster. But that's just kind of my take on that. But we're a take-oriented show, so we've got Martinique coming up, which will be that's Thursday. I think that being able to have a much more convincing win over Martinique is going to be critical because, if I'm not mistaken, the other team in the group is Canada, which, Alphonso Davies is he left the Canadian roster. I believe he's injured. But, Canada's that's not a slouch of a team as it relates to Gold Cup. They're in CONCACAF. They are, they've got some players, and they've got a lot of MLS players, which will match up against our mainly MLS side. So very interested to see. It was nice to see Shaq Moore down there on the right side for the men's national team. Shaq Moore plays for a La Liga 2 side. He used to play for Levante, which is one of those La Liga teams that will. We have not hit a basket here lately.
We have
Um,
not.
that will, kind of bounce up and down. So Shaq Moore is one of those international players that is getting time, but it's because he's in a lower division.
A lot going on in the soccer world. I know that there's a lot of pressure on this United States team. We document a lot, but I'm excited.
Absolutely, absolutely, Rutledge. So, you know what is also very exciting and something that I think we should be very excited about is to see Orlando City get off of this losing streak, which I am not a fan of.
This there's Jeff Saturday had a really good take on an episode of ESPN where he talked about what it was like to be on losing teams, and I'll put it from the losing fan base. This feels, and I hate to say it, Connor, this feels very Orlando City, and I wore my Orlando City socks to work today because I really wanted to send some good vibes through my day to our very lovely cardiac cats. But oh no, the summer's heating up, the injuries are coming on. We looked amazing. Wasn't it in our time following the team? Around about this time, we've usually been in the top two, and then we sort of falter, and then something sort of happens. So, I'm a little concerned. How do you feel?
I think Rutledge. I think that this is this time it's different, but it truly is different because I think you've got a lot of quality players that it's not that they're hurt; they're just playing international games. Pedro Galese was out there yet again playing in the CONMEBOL tournament there. Daryl DK has been either at Barnsley or on the Gold Cup squad. That the back line has definitely been hurt, although there was a signing that should be coming in from Argentina. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. So I think help is on the way. I think that a full-strength Orlando City team could be really good, and they've got players that have a full-strength Orlando City team is a team to be reckoned with in the entire league. I'm not giving up on them just yet.
I don't want to give up either. I know we're holding second in the East still. We play Toronto soon, which is a very formidable opponent. My wife and I went to the last Toronto game in Atlanta, so we'll be good. There's the gorilla. I love him so much.
No doubt, dude. He's like one of the all-time best mascots that there is.
Especially in the NBA, yes. I don't know about all time. That is another show we could do as I frack my microphone with my loud talking.
That'd be awesome. I would love an all-time. I think the gorilla would be like definitely a dark horse. He'd be like a 4 seed if we did a NCAA tournament style bracket of best mascots.
And I think of mascots that I'm not a fan of for teams that should have a good one, the Chicago Bull. Like, just something about the way he looks just doesn't jive with me at all.
But you know what? The Bulls still have one of the greatest intro videos of all time from their 90s teams. So I'll give them a pass.
Yeah, no, like, great franchise, huge history, Michael Jordan, but the mascot just doesn't do it for me.
You know who is doing it for a lot of fans?
Ohtani.
Ohtani. He's starting tonight for the AL.
He,
I should have that on. I should try to do literally 3 things at once.
I, we, I heard a really good take on him. It's like, well, he got knocked out of the home run derby early, but he's pitching tomorrow, so let's not worry about it. And I think we need to talk about, how cool that is. We haven't, Connor, I know you've been wanting to do some takes on him for a while, but the fact that Ohtani is an amazing batter and an amazing pitcher in this day where athletes are so specialized, like we haven't had a 2-sport athlete be, like Russell Wilson signed some stuff, Tim Tebow's tried 2 sports, but we haven't had like a Bo Jackson in a long time. And to see him excel at 2 positions in baseball, it just, at first you're like, oh, kind of neat. He got kind of lucky. And now it's just magical.
No, definitely, and you hope that the Angels can make a postseason push. Would love to see Ohtani there in the playoffs. So he's got, he's doing really well on the mound. I mean, he's starting the All-Star game, and he has 30. He's literally leading baseball in home runs there with 33. Um, it's Babe Ruth, but maybe better than probably the best we've seen from Babe Ruth.
At
Ba-
least better nutrition.
when Babe Ruth was playing, he was playing against guys that, had an overnight shift at the sawmill and then went to go play baseball. Otani is playing against guys that will look at stats and computers and, just the amount of attention to detail that these baseball players have is pretty phenomenal. So, very, very very interested to see how that continues to go for dear old Otani. Very excited to have him start the All Star game, and I hope he plays well.
I hope he does too. The All-Star game is 0-0 right now, with the American League National League tied. It is the top of the first two out, so they just got going.
Just got going out there in Denver. So, there's a great pizza place out there in Denver. I want to give a shout out to Bojo's Pizza. Uh, it's technically in a city called Idaho Springs. They had a few locations in Denver, but the whole shtick with Bojo's Pizza is that their crusts were so big that it would be like uh, it's like a roll. So they would literally give you honey to put on the crusts.
Like honey on the biscuits.
Very much like honey in the biscuits.
I'm a fan of that. So
So,
speaking of a fan, I think the division to be a fan of this year is, as we talked last week, it's the NL West, because our team of the week this year, Connor, is the San Francisco Giants, who they've had the best record in baseball since May 3rd, and I think that is a powerful stat to start off our take on them.
oh, absolutely. No, the Giants, when everyone thought about the NL West, rightfully so, they were thinking about the Dodgers, they were thinking about the um, San Diego Padres or Fathers, as I would like to refer to them as. But the Giants have really had a really incredible run here, and great way to start out the season. And I mean, this is the team that you could literally see three NL West teams in the playoffs between the Giants, the Padres, and the Dodgers. So very exciting to see what they've got going on. Giannis was all over me like glue there. Um, but yeah, I think that there's it's very interesting the approach that the Giants have been taking, because it's not as much like the Dodgers, where the Dodgers seem to have been all about having the just kind of having the big studs. And it's not to say that the Giants don't have their studs, but the Giants just continually seem to make just a lot of moves and try to you know get guys in the right positions and call up guys and do what they need to do.
These moves they especially made to be successful were all about, they actually changed their coaching staff. So if people weren't following the Giants, in 2019 they had really bad season, and then they actually made some moves changing up. Oh, that Giannis dunk was awesome. They made their moves changing it up, and someone who's really attributing that is Brandon Crawford.
All
He
star, all star.
all-star Brandon Crawford, who turned around his hitting, which he was in the 30% worst part of the league, to being this massive producer for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I have always been. Go ahead.
Here's an interesting stat for you, Rutledge. Yeah, and in the sport that gives you interesting stats, here's my interesting stat. The Giants lead the league in a stat called isolated power. Do you know what isolated power is?
Tell us, Connor.
Isolated power is taking, and this is for position players, because remember the NL does not have the DH. Isolated power is taking the slugging percentage, or taking your batting average and subtracting that from your slugging percentage, right? So, being in essence, it asks, when you're hitting, are you hitting doubles, triples, and home runs? So, what is your isolated power there? And the Giants, they're not necessarily the fastest team out there. They're not necessarily the most athletic team out there. But good night, are they hitting a lot of home runs and putting guys in good positions.
So I'm really impressed to see what they're doing. I want to see if the Dodgers catch it, but I've got another interesting thing. The Giants are 3-6 versus the Dodgers right now. So that series and that rivalry is going to be very important going down the stretch. They have some really good records against. They're 15-4 against the Rockies and Diamondbacks. So they're able to get some wins. But I know I feel like we like the Dodgers here on Friend Stream Sports more than we admitted last time we talked about them. It'll be really interesting to see who comes out on top of this division. If you could pick one, Connor, who would you be taking?
In terms of coming out of the division, I think that the big thing with the Dodgers is that they had a lot of guys hurt. And I think you are seeing a lot of folks coming back healthy now. As DeAndre Ayton just slam it, lamma ding dongs on you.
No one saw DeAndre Ayton coming back.
No way, no way. Do want to give a shout out to Kevin Gosman having a 1.75 ERA, just really lighting it up. And if Jacob deGrom for the Mets was not having the year he was having, there'd be a lot. The Giants have probably the second best pitcher in the National League right now, and if it wasn't for deGrom, we'd be talking about the best pitcher. But I'm a big fan of kind of saying who's got the dudes, who's got the studs. I think also when it comes to the playoffs, eventually, you're gonna have an issue, and you're gonna need to score runs. So definitely want to see a lot of opportunities for the Giants to prove me wrong, prove me right, however we want to call it. But I see this division still being a Dodger division.
I think because the Dodgers have the better pitching behind them, I really feel like it could be the. I really feel good about the Dodgers as well. I think they'll win the pitching game in the long term, which is going to slow down other people's bats when we start to get colder. Because I was in shock. I couldn't believe it when I was writing our show, Connor, that we were at Baseball All-Star Weekend. This year, 2021 has all of a sudden found its groove and its thing.
Oh, not that shot, though. That shot did not find its groove.
We tied up. I thought you were going to run away with me tonight.
Well, you asked me to give me some pretty long takes, so I know your games.
Sports is mental, my friends.
Right, though. And you have 6 blocks to my 0s when you
Six
take a look
blocks.
at the stats.
You got 4 steals.
I do have 4 steals. That is very, very true. So
now
it's time for halftime hot takes.
I know we just have no better way to introduce imitated halftime hot takes, and this one's kind of based on the way the NBA Finals swung. With the Bucks, Suns did not play a very healthy AD, Kawhi Leonard, a hurt Giannis who seems to be better, and Trae Young got hurt, and not Trae Young, and I'm missing one. Oh, and no Jamal Murray. So we here on halftime hot takes, but Giannis must have rubbed himself down with some feta cheese because he's feeling a lot better. We want to ask the questions tonight. Did the Suns luck their way into the NBA Finals? Connor, what is your take?
No way. I think that each year is an isolated piece, and I think that there are always injuries that you have to overcome. And I think that in every sport, a lot of times the best teams, that's what's goofy about the playoffs. It's not always the best teams, although I think the Suns could definitely be considered the best team. I think that they're just healthy. And even Chris Paul isn't hurt. And I think that you've got a lot of things that broke for the Suns, but I would not call them lucky. I'd call them good.
I think that's fair. But here's what I'll see. And I think it will help their overall legacy that Giannis is healthy and had 2 back-to-back 40-point games. Because he is playing, he's playing like himself, but it's good to see him bring it to the table. Because if Giannis hadn't been able to perform, it would have pondered the question, and we would have all been the watcher of what if. What if they had played a healthy Nuggets team, a fully healthy Clippers team, a fully healthy other team? We can see Stephen A. Smith yelling into our television saying the Phoenix Suns didn't even have to play the fully healthy Clippers, or however he talks. I think it's good
Stephen
to see that
A.
Giannis is there. He's been doing some stuff that we're not going to address on this show, but if you're out there listening to us in the world, just look up Stephen A. Smith on Twitter. He did some bad things. But either way,
No
as we go
doubt.
on, my point in my hot take is seeing Giannis healthy is going to curve it. In 5 years from now, no one will ever say the Suns played all hurt players that ever played anyone. But they have to beat a healthy Bucks team with Giannis for people to go they were good. If Giannis was out, I think people would be like, well, they just didn't have to play Giannis. So do I think they're good, like you said? Yes. Do I think that this Giannis playing good helps their case to show they were good? Yes. So I think they may have kind of lucked it.
No, well, that is.
Don't quit. Okay, continue. Don't quit.
I do want to continue this game.
And circle.
Let's go.
We. Whew. So that's my take.
Halftime hot
But yeah,
takes,
NBA
soon to be
Finals.
brought to you by somebody.
Hopefully one day soon to be brought to you by somebody. Look at those 4 people you have down inside where I can't drive. What a defense. What
You
a
know,
zone defense.
that's one of the things that we might have learned so far about this series is that there's one team that can get to the free throw line a little bit more than another team.
Yep.
So
So, in regards to the NBA Finals, though,
yeah,
like how Giannis is performing and how he's feeling, I want what he has. Like, please tell me how to be as healthy as he is to where he can have a bad leg injury and get up. I get tired from tying my shoes still sometimes, Connor. Like, it's absolutely incredible. And his older brother, he's been saying during the finals, his older brother is pushing him to just be a better leader for the team. Nice block. His older brother's pushing him to be a better leader for the team. But what an athlete, what a person. I am I am just absolutely amazed.
yeah, I will have what he's having, and I think part of that is being on the right side of 30 for an NBA basketball player there with Mr. Giannis, and very he has done. You know, we are talking about Otani earlier doing things that we haven't seen in a very long time. Giannis has he's been on some lists that the only other people that are on those lists are Michael Jordan and Larry Bird as it relates to uh, good night. You can't hit that. What are you doing there, son? Um, as it relates to his
Of course.
40-point games and 20-point quarters. Let's not forget in game two, he had a 20-point quarter, which is very, very impressive. That is for sure.
Extremely impressive, extremely dominant, just an absolute athlete who just lost the ball for me. So,
Rutledge, what do you
I
think
think what
about? Yeah, so not just that, but as it relates to the other players, right? Because you could be a team maybe like this, the Phoenix Suns circa Friend Stream Sports tonight that's trying to pack the paint on Giannis, uh, and he's still attacking, but you truly can't do it alone. What do you think about Giannis's supporting cast?
I think that, and especially when he got hurt, they all stepped up. Didn't Brook Lopez against Atlanta have like a 43-point game or did something huge? Chris Middleton has become that good perimeter shot this entire playoffs. So the team is really starting to gel really well. I'm a big fan of Brook Lopez in the paint as a center. I think he knows what he's doing on a very high level. So the supporting cast, and we've said this before, and I think I covered this earlier in the season, with Drew Holiday, the front office for Milwaukee finally gave the pieces around Giannis to let him kind of carry it. He he has the team to support him. Now they're not as system basketball as the Suns, but Connor, we've talked a lot about the Bucks the past couple weeks. How do you feel about Phoenix's looking? I know that loss stings, and Devin Booker after the loss, I don't know if you saw him, he looked like his parents took away his Halloween candy in front of him and then started eating it. Or like,
I think it's interesting, right? Um, the Suns are such an interesting team because they've got the younger players. They're, Chris Paul's 36, yes, but outside of that, you've got a lot of young players that uh, do need to have some adversity. And there are just some times in the NBA where grown men are doing grown men things. The amount of, I feel like there's always a little bit in every sport where they say, well, this is just a grown man's game. You know what? That's kind of true as it relates to the NBA, especially in the playoffs, and especially with the capability of a guy like Giannis and Chris Middleton. Now, I think that having Chris Paul in the lineup is going to keep Phoenix from kind of imploding. He's going to help keep their their heads about them and their heads straight. Um, but you know, and it's actually something I kind of saw going into this. I kind of figured that the Bucks wins were going to be a little bit more blowout type fashion, where the Suns were going to have to kind of grind out and squeak out a couple wins. And that's what we saw. I think the Bucks when their A plus game is better than the Suns A plus game.
Oh, for sure.
I just think that the Suns are going to play better and more consistently, right? It's more likely to go this A plus game that we saw in Game 3, and then see a C game like potentially in Game 4. So I think that's where, as long as the Suns keep their heads about them, that they're going to be okay.
Yeah, the Suns are definitely made to wear you down in a long man's game, and the Bucks are built to just give you so much basketball in your face all at once. It's like the Bucks are like an extra large soda at the movies. When they're on point, you're just like, my goodness, why do I have this? That was a hard foul. That's a hard fall.
That's a playoff foul right there. It's interesting in Game 3. A quick little stat: we're talking about the Bucks being the team that are going to come at you, and the Suns not necessarily being that team. Um, Giannis shot 17 free throws, although he's really the only Buck shooting free throws and the only Buck really getting to the line. The Phoenix Suns in Game 3 shot 16 free throws.
The Greek Freak lives on.
So definitely, I think we're going to see a much more and continue to see a steady diet of Giannis, and that's got to be the recipe for the win for Milwaukee. So
yeah, they if Giannis is on, it seems like Phoenix cannot stop him, and then if they do try to stop him, the supporting cast steps up.
So Rutledge, I want to ask you this question here as we head towards the end of the third quarter. Regardless of whether or not the Suns win, Chris Paul being 36 is going to have a contract coming up, and there's rumors that Chris Paul is going to want a 4-year contract. If you're Phoenix Suns with Chris Paul being 36 and injury prone, and it's really more of an aberration that he's not hurt right now, how would you handle that?
I think it's going to have to be where are the other contracts. So just some other names in Phoenix that are good producers. What does Aton's contract look like? And then what does Devin Booker's look like? Are you going to have to pay these young guys? Because Chris Paul's, he's not going to need a max deal, but how are you going to keep him on the roster and then keep everyone else happy? I think especially with how young this team is and what you said, he keeps their head in the game, and he keeps them young and loyal. But how will that role progress further? And then can you afford it? Right? So I would keep him if I can make the money work without hitting the luxury tax. Because I know right now everyone in Phoenix, is all high on him because they're in the finals. They want to see it happen. Great team, but can they afford it? It's not like when LA would pay for it like that.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, because Chris Paul, hopefully one day friend of the show Colin Cowherd has made some great points about this Chris Paul contract. Chris Paul is the player representative for the NBA Players Association. He's not taking a pay cut. Drew Brees, when he was the head of the Players Association for the New Orleans Saints. Good night. How did I nearly forget that Drew Brees played for the Saints? Yeah, he never took a pay cut until after he had stopped being that player representative. So, going to be very interesting to see what happens with Chris Paul if he does stay. If players are still going to continue to respond to his style.
Is Ricky Rubio's style responsive yet? Because he's just. Oh, look at that! That was a foul.
He's playing all right.
Wild.
He's playing.
Yeah.
He didn't even play for the Suns anymore, and he's eating the Bucks alive.
He is. Maybe that's where their struggle is. They got rid of Ricky Rubio for Chris Paul.
The struggle Bucks.
The struggle Bucks.
Oh my gosh, is that going to potentially be the new name of this episode? The struggle Bucks.
Maybe that'll be next week if the Bucks lose again in the playoffs. That's what we'll call it next week.
It's bold move calling a timeout right at the end of or beginning of the fourth quarter.
I have my reasons. It's called this isn't working. So I have my reasons.
No doubt, no doubt. Rutledge, let me ask you this: are you sipping on any cool beverages this evening?
I got a nice cup of water. What are you drinking?
Oh, I had with a great dinner. I had a elderberry kombucha. Always I'm trying my hardest to stay healthy. So
how was an elderberry what?
Oh yeah, those are two words that I just put together.
What are you, like an elf in the woods?
A little bit. I mean, I am hairy like an elf.
Elves aren't hairy. Dwarves are hairy.
Elves can be hairy.
Name one hairy elf.
Will Ferrell.
Just so stupid. That was awesome.
Nevertheless, Will Ferrell.
This round born back to being a sports show.
Heyo. Back to Giannis. Missing again. Good night.
Giannis only has 6 points.
That will not do it. You need a little bit closer to one of those 40 and 10 nights.
We'll just foul the heck out of Ricky Rubio. That's what we'll do.
He's doing well for us. So, one of the things as NBA video games continue to advance, obviously rosters continue to shuffle, and not just rosters continue to shuffle, Rutledge, but we see new coaches year in and year out.
We do. And Connor and I are going to take this time to kind of trade some coaches. I'm excited about seeing some coaches out there, and Connor is going to give the why didn't you just hire us to be your coach's take on coaches he's not excited about. Or even just franchises where he just has question marks where, why didn't they just hire us? I think we would be a good NBA front office, don't you?
I would love to be an NBA front office. I think we would crush it. I'd make sure our players had popsicles at the end of practice and orange slices at halftime.
Yep. And I think we would rock some good suits. We would be both coach on the sideline, so we'd both be walking the sideline calling out plays.
It would be like Will Ferrell in the movie Tropic. I almost said Tropic Thunder. What was Will Ferrell's basket? Semi-Pro.
Yeah, Semi-Pro. The Flint Tropics.
Which is so funny. Have you ever been to Flint, Michigan?
My parents met in Flint, Michigan.
That is wonderful. Flint, Michigan, real special place. Not tropical.
No,
not tropical.
Not at all.
So Rutledge, tell us which NBA team as it stands right now are you most excited about for their new coach?
I'm going to go with the obvious one first. Nate McMillan for the Atlanta Hawks. As we remember from when we broke down the Atlanta Hawks earlier this year, they were really kind of struggling. They were having a hard time, and they fired their old coach. And now they have Nate McMillan on their team who took them all the way to the conference finals. I think if Trae Young wasn't hurt, they could have hung in there with the Bucks, at least made it a 7-game series. But I am excited to see Nate McMillan take that franchise on his own. I think they have a lot of buy-in. I think they have the roster. So that's mine. It's my
Yeah, Nate
first one.
McMillan, he definitely sometimes coaches just have the magic touch, and I think Nate McMillan has the magic touch there. So, um, coming in at it from the other side of things, the first franchise that is just, I think, in complete shambles as it relates to their head coach is the New Orleans Pelicans. They got rid of Stan Van Gundy, which, you know, I think that in some ways it's always interesting because I think Stan Van Gundy is built for this NBA with the amount that he likes to shoot 3-pointers. Um, but on the other hand, I think Stan is not necessarily a player's coach and someone who's going to coach folks really hard. And I think that that can wear on guys. And Stan Van Gundy is like 5'5". So, as he's talking about basketball, guys are like, dude, I can dribble you. So the fact that the Pellies, although they have Zion and David Griffith, who put together a championship team when he was in Cleveland, the fact that he can't find a new head coach, I think, is very telling of where that franchise is. And I think there's some real issues there. And good luck to the Pellies here in the future.
But who wouldn't want to be able to drive to Cafe Du Monde after practice?
I would like to drive to Cafe Du Monde, but you got to remember, seeing as that's a touristy area, you're probably not driving to Cafe Du Monde. You're probably sending somebody to go to Cafe Du Monde for you.
Even better. To each their own. I still think they should hire us, but that's just me.
Well, we
Although
would
then
just crush it.
we would be great.
So I don't know how good our team would be, but we'd have a blast.
Oh yeah, I mean we would miss some games.
We would miss. We'd roll in late with 3 pairs of sunglasses on.
Yep, we would be we, we would be the coach. Moving on. Jeez, what is up
So
with my
tell me about another
defense?
team, Rutledge, that you were just really, really excited about their new head coaching situation.
I am excited to see Chauncey Billups take the reins over in Portland. I know he was a very successful player. He is a first-year coach, but I think he's going to be sort of a mentor for Damian Lillard, who that franchise right now, they need someone to especially take care of the team and Damian and just make Rip City better. So I feel like that's a good job with some good potential to it. I also think they should get rid of Carmelo Anthony, but that's just me. That's for another show. So I'm excited to see what happens with Portland, but I think it's a one-trick pony. You have one shot to make this work, or else Damian will go away. So that's my thoughts on my next one.
Nice. Rutledge, let me ask you this. Would you rather work out with Hoodie Mello or listen to Damian Lillard try to play the violin?
Oh, what type of workout is it with Hoodie Mello?
It's leg day.
Violin, like, because I have my music degree, I could give him some pointers. I don't want to do leg day with Hoodie Mello. I don't like doing leg day with myself.
No doubt. I think Hoodie Mello would try to skip leg day,
Yeah, absolutely.
but I digress. I think that as this continues and as we go into our next coaching team that I really have some questions on, I'm going to go with my hometown Orlando Magic, and it's not because I think Coach Mosley is going to do a bad job. I just think that the Magic, I mean, he was far from their first choice. Remember, there was a while where Jason Kidd was in contention. There was, Penny Hardaway was up there. They literally, the guy that they asked to leave asked him to come back, and he said no. So he is, he's got his work cut out for him. I think Markel Fultz, there's some definite talent there, and with the 5 and 8 draft pick, I think you've got a lot of potential to build a team, but this is a big time rebuild, and just because you have some high draft picks in a quote good draft, that doesn't mean that you're going to do well.
No, I think the gutting of Orlando was too much. It's like cutting open a fish and now you cut the sushi meat. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with them and this next coach.
I'm having you stay in this game here.
I know. I'm within 8, 55 to go.
That you are. That you are. So we might have to figure out how to. Oh, just kidding. There's. Oh,
Huh.
I was so close there. So Rutledge, who's your third team that you're just very excited about?
The Pacers with I might get a ding for this one. Rick Carlisi? Carlisi? How do I say his name, Connor?
Rick Carlisle. Not even
Thank
close.
you. Not even a ding. And
Double
that is just
ding.
that is just for the I didn't study. That is just for the fact that he's out there and he has a proven record with them. He was successful. Um, he took them to their conference finals. The one thing I do want to put out is he apparently I've read some reports that he angered Luca during his last season of the Mavs because he was a little bit of a micromanager coach, and you would see Luca in some games kind of just yelling over at the sidelines. So this is a veteran team. I don't know if they're going to suffer from injuries in Indiana, but I feel like this is a good hire. But I also feel like this is a high pressure hire for him that he will, unlike Chauncey Billups in Portland, where he has to keep Dame happy in order to keep Damian Lillard in Portland. This is he has to produce and win because they brought him back because he won. So the fan base is going to be expecting him to sort of bring same results.
You know that's a very very interesting take there. Be Pacer fans are a little different. They do have some grace. The those Midwestern fans, if they see some promise, will try to will give you a little bit longer on that leash. So as we close out the night here on
After you
Friends
nail
Stream
that three,
Sports.
you're gonna do that as we close out the night. That hurt. That, that was. Don't make this etiquette good podcast
the
etiquette. That
I'm gonna
was the
pick my
nail in the coffin.
I'm gonna pick my team that I think it has a lot of issues. Um, is the team that Rick Carlisle used to coach, and that is the Dallas Mavericks. I think that Luka and Kristaps, it's kind of making a toxic situation, and I don't know if Jason Kidd is ready for it.
Yeah, I can see that. You and I had a phone conversation earlier today. It says when you're on LeBron's coaching staff, you don't coach. You're just allowed to keep coming back to work. So I could see that being a struggle.
Well, that does it here for tonight.
What a night. Ricky Rubio, 24.7 assists.
24.7 assists. Devin Booker, 16 points. DeAndre Ayton with the double-double. Good night for the Suns.
What a win. Congratulations, Connor.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So, with that, it's about time for picks, don't you think?
Yeah, what are we picking tonight?
You tell me.
Well, we do have in the National League. Who are you taking? The scores right now, American 1, National League 0. So who do you pick to win tonight based on that score at the end of the second?
Yeah, I mean, the AL always wins All-Star games. I'm picking the AL.
I'm going to go with the NL, and we'll see some of that NL West bats heat up.
No doubt, no doubt. So, next up, would love to hear. Let's do this for some picks. Could be kind of fun. You had Bucks in 7. I had Suns in 6. Are you going to change that at all?
I am keeping Bucks in 7.
Wow. There you go.
What are you doing?
You know, I am not changing one bit my pick. I am going Bucks. I'm going Suns in 6.
Okay. For our last, we're going to talk NASCAR. I hope that Connor, your fantasy team has been doing well. I've been holding instead of the same results every week. How about yours?
You know, for our NASCAR Cup Series, I was really excited to see both Kurt and Kyle Busch. They finished 1 and 2 last week,
Yep.
and I think that the good vibes are going to continue. I'm going to pick pole sitter to be Kyle Busch next week.
I am going to go in this one. I am going to pick the ever consistent Never Lets You Down too well as they go to Loudon, New Hampshire this week in the NASCAR Cup Series. Well, there it is. Well, Connor, any last thoughts before we sign off for the evening?
I think that there's I think that as sports are getting into we have the start of football season coming up, we have the end of basketball season, we've got international soccer, we've got MLS, we've got baseball heating up, and you can second guess and third guess so many things. It's just important to stick with your dudes. It's important to do the things that got you there, and dudes here in this Gold Cup that will add some depth to their roster.
I hope so too. Until then, this has been Friend Stream Sports, Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'm Rutledge.
And I'm Connor.
Have a great night.